At 80, Tom Selleck says, "He was the only one who could do that to me." Tom Selleck was born Thomas William Selleck on January 29, 1945 in Detroit, Michigan. He grew up in a regular middle-class family that taught him to work hard, be honest, and never give up. When he was young, he wasn't really into acting. Instead, he loved sports, and was so good at basketball that he got a scholarship to go to the University of Southern California, where he studied business. While he was in college, he earned money by doing small modeling jobs, and that slowly led him into the entertainment world. He was tall, handsome, and had a strong presence that caught the attention of people who cast actors for TV shows and movies. This made him decide to train at a place called the Beverly Hills Playhouse, and he started getting small parts on TV and in movies during the late 1960s and early 1970s. The big break in Selleck's career happened when he got the main role in a popular CBS TV show called Magnum P.I., which was on TV from 1980 to 1988. He played Thomas Magnum, a cool private investigator who lived in Hawaii. Selleck made this character so popular that everyone in America knew who he was. His famous mustache, relaxed charm, and talent for being both funny and serious made him a star. He won an Emmy Award in 1984 for being the best lead actor in a drama series, and he was nominated for several Golden Globe Awards, too. Magnum P.I. wasn't just fun to watch. It showed that Selleck could play a hero who was strong, but also had feelings and made good choices, which set an example for other TV heroes back then. Besides TV, Selleck also did well in movies. He was in popular films like 3 Men and a Baby in 1987, and its sequel, 3 Men and a Little Lady in 1990, which became really famous movies in the 1980s and early 1990s. He also appeared in westerns like Quigley Down Under in 1990, showing that he could act in all kinds of different movies. Even though he famously said no to playing Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark because he was too busy filming Magnum P.I., he still became a special and loved actor in Hollywood. The roles he picked often showed characters who were good people, tough, and easy for regular audiences to relate to. In 1997, Tom Selleck took a role in a romantic comedy called In and Out. It was a movie that was funny, but also important for that time. The movie had a big group of actors including Kevin Kline, Joan Cusack, and Matt Dillon, and they all did a great job. Selleck being in the film was a big deal, because it showed he was willing to try funny and different roles beyond what people knew him for as a tough action star from his Magnum P.I. days. The idea for the film came from Tom Hanks's touching speech at the 1994 Academy Awards when Hanks won the Oscar for Philadelphia. In his speech, Hanks talked about 2 gay men he knew who had really influenced his life and career. That emotional moment inspired the idea for In and Out. By the late 1990s, when Hollywood was still nervous about including LGBTQ+ topics in regular comedies, Selleck's choice to be in a movie like this was noticed. His decision to join the cast showed that he was a flexible actor, and also that he was open to stories that mixed humor with progressive messages about society. The next year, Selleck went back to TV with a different kind of show, a CBS sitcom called The Closer, where he played Jack McLaren, a powerful executive at an advertising agency. This was different from the crime dramas and action shows that people usually thought of when they thought of him. In this show, Selleck played a character dealing with the fast-moving, stressful world of advertising, where being creative and office politics often clashed. Even though The Closer only aired for a short time in 1998 with Selleck in all 10 episodes, the show let him show off his funny side in a workplace setting. His performance as McLaren was full of charm, humor, and some vulnerability that let viewers see another side of his acting skills. While the show didn't last long, it proved that Selleck was a TV legend who wasn't scared to try roles that were different from the traditional hero characters. Almost 10 years later, during the 2007 to 2008 TV season, Selleck joined the cast of Las Vegas, a drama about the behind-the-scenes action at a made-up casino. He played A.J. Cooper, a charming and rich casino owner who brought a new sense of leadership and excitement to the show. The show explored the complicated personal and work lives of casino workers as they handled security problems, customer arguments, and the fancy but sometimes dangerous world of the Las Vegas Strip. Selleck being on the show added importance because his character mixed business smarts with a tough approach to running the high-risk world of gambling. His role also gave him a chance to work with younger actors, connecting different generations and bringing in longtime fans who had followed his career since the 1980s. Even though Las Vegas was almost over when he joined, Selleck being added to the cast was exciting and made the show more interesting in its later seasons. Besides his regular TV work, Selleck found lasting success in a different format: TV movies. In 2007, he starred with Kathy Baker in Jesse Stone, Sea Change, part of a mystery movie series based on books by Robert B. Parker. In this movie, Selleck played his role as Jesse Stone, a small-town police chief whose quiet personality and smart instincts made him a great character in crime dramas. The story was about Stone investigating an unsolved murder, and like the other movies in the series, it mixed the excitement of a detective story with the personal problems of the main character, including Stone's struggle with alcoholism and his feeling of being alone. Selleck's performance as Jesse Stone became one of his most praised roles, with people saying it was deep, subtle, and emotionally real. Unlike some of his earlier characters, Stone wasn't defined by being cocky or bold, but by being flawed and human and determined to find justice. Audiences loved it, and Selleck went on to play the role in many other Jesse Stone movies, making the character one of his most lasting and beloved performances. Working with Baker also created a natural connection that made the film more emotional, showing that Selleck's talents moved easily from regular TV episodes to full-length movies made for TV. In the later part of his career, Selleck kept staying popular by taking on new opportunities. He had a recurring role as Dr. Richard Burke on the hit sitcom Friends, playing Monica's older boyfriend, which introduced him to younger fans. In 2010, he started playing NYPD Commissioner Frank Reagan in the CBS drama Blue Bloods, a role that has let him show his seriousness and strong screen presence as the father figure of a family dedicated to law enforcement. The show has been successful for a long time and has made Selleck a regular on primetime TV even in his older years. From 1971 until 1982, Tom Selleck was married to the American model and actress Jacqueline Ray, a marriage that put him in the public eye not just as a rising actor, but also as a family man. Jacqueline Ray, who was already famous for her work as a fashion model and her appearances on TV and in movies, had a son from a previous relationship, Kevin Shepard, who was born in 1966. Selleck, showing his deep sense of responsibility and love, legally adopted Kevin during their marriage, giving him not only his last name, but also the kind of steady parenting that would help shape Kevin's future. This bond stayed strong even after Selleck and Ray eventually got divorced. Kevin went on to follow his passion for music, building a career for himself as a professional drummer. His talent and hard work eventually led him to join the American rock band Tonic, which became popular in the 1990s with hits like If You Could Only See, showing how Selleck's role as a stepfather left a lasting impact on Kevin's life. After his divorce from Jacqueline Ray, Selleck spent several years focusing on his career, which was doing really well by then thanks to the success of Magnum P.I. and his growing fame in Hollywood. However, his personal life took a new direction in the mid-1980s while he was in Britain filming. It was there that he met Gilly Joan Mack, a young actress and dancer from Wiltshire, England, who had been performing in the West End production of Cats. The two quickly felt a strong connection, and even though they lived on different continents and Selleck had a busy career schedule, their relationship grew into a deep romance. On August 7, 1987, the couple got married in a quiet and private ceremony, showing Selleck's preference for keeping his personal life away from the constant attention of the press. Their marriage turned out to be one of lasting love and stability, standing in complete contrast to many Hollywood relationships that often fell apart under pressure. Together they built a family life that balanced Selleck's fame with the values of privacy, devotion, and staying grounded. On December 16, 1988, they welcomed their daughter, Hannah Margaret Selleck, into the world. Hannah would grow up to inherit her parents' determination and discipline, But she chose a path different from acting or music. Instead, she pursued a career as an accomplished equestrian, earning respect in the world of competitive horseback riding and later starting her own successful horse breeding business. Through Hannah, Selleck and Mac's legacy continued into a new generation, showing their emphasis on hard work, family values, and living a life guided by passion rather than public attention. At 80 years old, Tom Selleck, one of TV's most famous leading men, surprised fans with an emotional confession that showed one of the most important friendships of his life. Looking back on his journey from being a young struggling actor trying to make it in Hollywood to becoming a household name known all over the world, Selleck chose to talk not about fame, money, or success, but about a man who deeply shaped his life, James Garner. With remarkable honesty, he admitted, "He was the only one who could do that to me." For Selleck, the statement wasn't said casually. Throughout his career, he had worked with countless stars, directors, and producers. But Garner was different. Known for his role as the easygoing but smart Jim Rockford in The Rockford Files, James Garner had a mix of charm and realness that deeply connected with Selleck. "Jim wasn't just an actor I looked up to," Selleck explained. "He was a mentor, a friend, and in many ways, a role model. He had this ability to make you feel like you belonged, even when you weren't sure you did." When Selleck was first cast in recurring roles on The Rockford Files during the 1970s, he was still pretty unknown. He often described those years as really hard, going to endless auditions and getting rejected over and over. Garner, who was already a respected person in Hollywood, could have easily kept his distance from younger actors. Instead, he welcomed Selleck with warmth and treated him as an equal. "Jim had this way of breaking down walls," Selleck remembered. "I was nervous, I was inexperienced, and yet he made me feel like part of the team." That kind of generosity is rare in this business. Their bond went beyond the set. Garner, known for his humor and down-to-earth nature, often gave Selleck guidance without ever making it feel like he was giving advice. The younger actor watched closely, learning how Garner balanced being charming with staying humble. "I can't tell you how much I learned from just watching him," Selleck admitted. He was cool without trying to be cool, funny without forcing a joke, and professional without ever acting superior. "He made acting look easy, and for a young guy like me, that was inspiring." Selleck confessed that Garner influenced him in ways no one else could. It wasn't about teaching acting tricks or fixing mistakes. It was about teaching a way of thinking about how to behave in a tough industry. "He was the only one who could make me see that success isn't about ego. It's about respect, about treating people right." That's something Jim lived every day, and it stayed with me long after. The friendship lasted as Selleck became famous with Magnum PI in the 1980s. Even though he became a star himself, Selleck never forgot Garner's kindness during his early years. The two stayed close, often sharing stories, laughs, and a mutual appreciation for their work. Selleck has often mentioned how rare it is to find someone in Hollywood who stays true to themselves, and Garner was exactly that kind of man. He was authentic, Selleck emphasized. "What you saw on screen was what you got in real life." That kind of honesty is powerful, and it had a huge impact on me. When Garner passed away in 2014, Selleck was deeply affected. Even years later at 80, his voice still carries a note of deep respect when speaking about him. "I've worked with many people, but Jim, he was unique. He had this gift of pulling the best out of you without even trying. He was the only one who could do that to me. I owe so much of who I became, both as an actor and as a man, to the example he set." Today, as Selleck thinks back on his long career filled with awards, unforgettable roles, and the admiration of fans across generations, it is not the awards or fame that seem most meaningful to him. It is the bond he shared with James Garner. His confession is less about being vulnerable and more about being grateful. It is the acknowledgement that behind every great success story is someone who believed, encouraged, and inspired. For Tom Selleck, that person was James Garner. In the end, his words serve as both a tribute and a reminder that even icons of television are shaped by the people who touch their lives. "Jim was my friend, my mentor, and the man who showed me that being a good actor is important, but being a good human being matters even more," He was the only one who could do that to me.